It's time to enter the drone zone with me, James Drone, aka Pure Ambient Drone. So hit that subscribe button, tap that bell, and get ready to synth on.
Okay, we are back with episode 18 of Midnight Synthesizer Talk. Hello, this is James Drone, the voice of synthesizers. I am so glad to be here with you each and every night. I'm going to continue doing these as long as you keep encouraging me and supporting me. This is something that I believe YouTube has needed for a long time, to shut the cameras off and let our ears open up and our minds expand. Sometimes we see better with our ears. Don't you agree? I agree. I think so. So tonight I want to talk about synthesizer hoarding. Yes, hoarding synthesizers. Did you know that there's people out there such as myself who hoard synthesizers? Yes, I know it's hard to believe, isn't it? But I have a reason why I hold on to my synthesizers. I have a reason why. But you know, for a lot of people, there is something out there called synth addiction. Synthesizer addiction is real. It's not a joke. And there's people out there that really find themselves into some serious financial trouble because they can't stop buying synthesizers. And then what they'll do is they'll either hold on to the synthesizers that they've already purchased and then keep adding more, or they will at least sell some of the synthesizers that they already bought, but they won't make their money back or break even or even get a profit for some of the stuff that they've sold. And I have been known to do all of that, okay? So I thought about something, and a memory came back to me about rushing and assuming and just not planning ahead. And it's kind of a silly memory to be like matching up with synth hoarding. But the reason why I keep my synthesizers longer now than ever before is because I realize that I end up buying them again. And I waste money, I waste time and effort and energy doing that. So now I like to hold on to synthesizers, and then when I get a craving to go back to them, that's what I do. I go back and I bring them into the studio and hook them back up. And sometimes I have to take a synthesizer out of the studio in order to do that, but then that's okay because it's giving me a break. And I have found that by doing this, that my gas is depleted because a need is being filled. Now, you could call the need psychosomatic if you want to, all in my head. But to me, it's real. And to anyone who has synth addiction, it's real. Okay? I'm being serious about all of this. I know a lot of people, and all they do is shop for synthesizers all the time. And they're trading and selling and selling and trading and buying. And it becomes a vicious cycle. And I think that if you're into gear, it doesn't matter if it's synthesizers, it could be guitars, it can be amplifiers, it can be compressors, anything to do with gear in general. If you're into it long enough, it can become very addicting. It can be very addicting. There's just something about setting up a studio and getting everything the way you hope you're going to get it. And then the disappointments, they come as well. And then you realize that, man, I did not need this synthesizer after all. I should have kept what I sold in order to get this synthesizer. I made a huge sacrifice to get this synth, and it's not what I hoped it would be. It's such a disappointment for whatever reasons. Those things happen. We're only human. Can't blame you because I've done it myself. So there I was, this memory of mine, and I had a bike, a dirt bike. I got it for Christmas, and I rode this thing all day, every day. I got it for Christmas one year. And I thought, you know, I'm going to show how fast I can pedal on this bike. I think I was 8 years old, and I started just flying down this hill at our neighborhood. I mean, I was going fast. I mean, for an 8-year-old, okay, it was fast. And I remember this young girl, she was the same age as me. She was crossing the street. I knew her. She was in my neighborhood. There she was, and she stopped in the middle of the street when she saw me going down the hill on my bike. And I kept screaming, move, move. I mean, I was quite a ways off. And I couldn't turn fast enough to get out of her way. And I smashed right into her. And I remember flying over the handlebars. I actually remember this because everything kind of just slowed down. It was like I was just floating across. And I had a lot of time to think, even though it happened super fast. It was kind of surreal. It was like it happened really fast, but I had time to think about things. And one of them was, wow, I wish I wasn't moving so fast. That was one of the regrets that I had as I was flying over the handlebars. I also remember the neighborhood kids in the yard right across from that street watching me smash right into this poor thing in the road. And I remember them yelling, making a loud noise as if one voice. There was maybe 4 or 5 kids playing some kind of ball game. And I remember seeing them as I was suspended, floating slowly to my impending pain. And I remember them just all shouting, "Ooh!" Yeah, it looked bad. It was. And I remember landing on the ground and my hands coming out, reflex, smacking that hard pavement. Wow, what a wipeout. I mean, it was going to take about 20 minutes before the pain set in because I had smashed so hard. I'm sure that everyone can relate to something similar. That's going to hurt in the morning. Yeah. I get up, and this poor girl is just flattened in the road. I mean, wow. I just plowed right over her. And I was thinking, what a horrible thing I've just done. Because I actually liked this girl. Yeah, no chance at a date now, right? And she was crying. I wasn't, but she was. And I knew I was hurt. But looking at her, I mean, I really did some damage. It was purely an accident. And I went home thinking how bad I couldn't believe I did that to someone. And it's because I got in a hurry. It's because I wanted to make a spectacle, but not that spectacle. I just wanted to fly down the hill and show everybody my awesome bike. And I just remember that poor girl being my unintentional victim on both sides. I mean, I wasn't intending to do anything to anyone, and she wasn't intending to do anything to anyone. She just happened to be at the wrong place at the wrong time, just like I was. But I was the one being reckless. I was the one that was rushing in. I was the one that was flying down the hill as fast as I could, not thinking about anyone else. Just thinking about myself. And you can be fair to me and say, well, you were just 8 years old. Yeah, I get it. How many times children do that in their youth, hurt somebody? How many adults do that? But I just remembered that, and I thought, man, I have a family, and if I rush into something, whether it be buying synthesizers or selling synthesizers, I could be hurting somebody in my family that I don't want to hurt. And see, I like this little girl, whatever that is at the age of 8, I don't know. But I liked her. We often played in groups with other children in the neighborhood, and she was someone that I liked. I didn't want to hurt her. None of us want to hurt people around us either that we love and care about, and especially innocent bystanders that just come along. I just felt so bad for so long. I felt very guilty. I must have, because I still remember it today. I'm 53 years old, and I can remember this incident like it happened yesterday. Not just remember the actions of what happened, but I remember the feelings of just, man, I felt stupid because it was stupid. What I did was stupid. It was. I felt reckless. I felt ashamed. And I felt very misunderstood because I didn't mean to do it, but I did it anyway, right? And I think the whole thing about the shame that I felt was that everybody saw me do it. Yes, that was part of the shame. Because, I mean, let me tell you something. The neighborhood was talking about that one for a while. But I think I felt the shame because I knew not to do what I did, and I did it anyway. But I didn't do what I did to her, nor did I ever plan it. What I did do is I went down a hill, a neighborhood street, as fast as I could on my bike, for no good reason, and I hurt somebody. Now, all of us can do this to someone in our lives who we are responsible for. And here's the thing. I wasn't responsible for that little girl, but I was responsible for that little girl. I didn't have to feed or clothe her or house her. That was her parents' job. But I was to keep her safe from myself and my bike striking her. And I failed in doing that because I was not responsible. And so I want to be responsible. I want to think about other people first. It doesn't matter if they're in my family or not. I want to be a responsible person. I want to be someone who has dignity, who has self-respect, not because I think it's owed to me, but because I've earned it. And I've earned it by doing the right thing. I've earned it by treating people the right way. And I have learned over the years that the only way you can ever be sure that you're treating somebody in the right way is to ask yourself every now and then, how many sacrifices have I made? This is what I ask myself. How many sacrifices have I made for the sake of someone else? Because here's the thing. We are not serving anyone if we haven't made a sacrifice. Service is something that occurs when we give something up in exchange for the benefit of another person. If we cannot give something up of ourselves, if everything that we do has to have some kind of reward for ourselves, it's not true service. It's not sacrifice. And when I find myself serving myself, when I find myself constantly not sacrificing for the good of someone else, I see myself on that bike again, going way too fast, heading for a disaster, heading for a collision, a wipeout. So for the following week after that bike accident, I was sore all over. But you know what? I could not show my face in that part of the neighborhood for a long time. I mean, her parents were just angry at me. And I was ashamed. I don't think I ever spoke to that girl ever again. I don't think I did. I was too ashamed. And you know what? That's insult to injury, because I didn't even say I was sorry, but I said I was sorry at the accident. But of course you're going to say that. I mean, it's like you see a little girl crying because you just ran her over. You just plowed into her with a dirt bike going, who knows how fast I was going. And you're saying you're sorry. I mean, it doesn't mean much when their eyes are filled with tears and their mind is ablaze with pain. Their body is just mangled. I mean, she didn't have to go to the hospital or anything like that. No. I mean, she was hurt. And so I look at it and I go, wow, I could have maybe stopped her at school or something. We went to the same school. But even there, I avoided her because I was ashamed. And there I was thinking about me again. How often we do such things. So I've learned to get my synth addiction under control as much as possible, and to say no to synthesizers when I need to, because I don't want to be self-serving. Now, if there's a purpose for a synthesizer, then I will obtain that synthesizer. But now more than ever, I have really come to make sure that I get all my T's crossed and my I's dotted before I make the decision to purchase a synthesizer, to sell a synthesizer, to trade a synthesizer. So I hope that this little talk helped you in some way or another. So leave a comment if it has, and if it hasn't, you can still leave a comment. That would be great. I enjoy these talks with you. So hit that subscribe button and tap that bell. And until next time, keep calm and synth on.